Hello everybody, and welcome to the third installment of one of the newest sensations on my channel. Of course, we are talking about 007, A Bondiful Year, as we take a look at all of the James Bond films that have been gracing us for the past couple of decades as we highly anticipate the 25th James Bond film. And today I am so excited because we are going to talk about one of the best, if not the best, James Bond film of all time. And that, of course, is Sean Connery returning in Goldfinger. And I remember this one very dearly because of the fact that this was a movie that my parents taped off of television, and just in case you're young, that is what we used to call DVRing. But they taped Goldfinger off television, and I saw a couple of pieces of that, and it was the very first James Bond film that I saw, and I just remembered being so intrigued by it, especially considering the fact that Goldfinger was the first time we got the true, complete James Bond formula. We got the opening action sequence, we got the opening musical number for the credits, and this time around we get the song Goldfinger sung beautifully by Shirley Bassey. It's one of the most legendary James Bond songs of all time, and this time around it is also one of the more interesting plots, and also has one of the strongest villains in the James Bond collection, and that of course is Goldfinger, played by Gert Frobe. So in this film, we actually see James Bond in the United States as he is keeping a close eye on an entrepreneur called Goldfinger. And he is someone who is a true philanthropist, investing himself in so many different areas of business, and he even has his own bank in Europe. And it turns out that James Bond meets up with a girl that is part of his group, and he and her have an affair, and it turns out that Goldfinger is not too fond of the fact that James Bond has discovered him and is starting to play his game, and when James Bond returns to see the girl that he is having an affair with, he notices that she is dead, and she is covered in gold paint and has been suffocated. And now it is up to James Bond to hunt down Goldfinger and also find out what exactly is he truly trying to plan. And I will say it was a nice little breather to get away from Spectre, because Spectre was something that we had already gotten in the first two Bond films, but I don't think we got the strongest depiction of them yet. I mean, there's still so many Bond films to go, so we definitely get to see this villain really turn into what it is today in the world of James Bond lore. But Goldfinger is just an amazing villain. He is so brilliant. He is so crafty. His plot in this movie is probably one of the most complex and most genius things that I had ever seen in any kind of film that involves espionage or just true villainy. And of course he has one of the most amazing lines, one of the greatest villainous lines in all of Bond, which is, "No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die." Even if you've never seen Goldfinger, you know exactly what that line is. And it also was one of the first few films that actually gave us laser weapons. We had never seen technology like that used in the film world, and Goldfinger came out in 1964. But this movie has so many great moments, it has got so many great action sequences. It also has one of the first truly great Bond women, and that of course is Honor Blackman, playing the name that may be considered politically incorrect these days, Pussy Galore. And I love how she transitions from the right-hand person to Goldfinger, and James Bond just turns on that charm, and who knows what is going to take place when that movie comes to an end. But if you have not seen Goldfinger, and you are a James Bond fan, guys, unless you really believe that Skyfall is the best Bond film, and quite frankly, it may very well be, Goldfinger is just so amazing. You are going to adore this film, and as someone who is a James Bond fan, I'm glad to know that this one was such a pivotal film for me as a film appreciator. And I remember seeing it for the first time, bits and pieces, liking it. Seeing it for the first time as a whole, loving it. Seeing it for the first time in so many years, I adore this movie. I don't own it, but if it's ever on TV, I definitely will be watching it, and you should too, which is why I am giving Goldfinger, the very first in this new segment on my channel, a perfect 4 stars out of 4. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please leave your comments in the box below, and let's discuss Goldfinger, and I will see you in the next episode. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you're new here and want to see more of what my channel has to offer, please click on the link to my last video, or hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of my uploads. Content of all sorts is posted here quite often, so trust me, you do not want to fall behind. I will see you in the comments, and actions speak louder than words.